Hey YouTube, so today I'm going to be talking about competing.
You don't know what you're doing, and the walls are closing in.
So there's quite a few things that people need to know about competing. There's misconceptions and wrong ideas about competing. Like I've seen people say this before, but people see, you know, that lean, tan, beautiful figure in a sparkly bikini on stage, hair and makeup all done, looks super glamorous, but they don't stop to think about all the work and hardships that gets that competitor to that point. So, I mean, yeah, of course, seeing that on stage or seeing pictures of that, you want to do that, you want to be that, but you need to understand what a competitor goes through to get there. First off, I mean, you need to be athletic. It's not just, oh, I've never lifted a day in my life, I'm gonna go hop on the treadmill and that's what I'm gonna become. So you need to lift. You need to lift weights and not be afraid of weights, especially females. I know there's a lot of females who are afraid of weightlifting because they think they're gonna look manly. Well, I've been lifting for about 7 years. It's been on and off, but I mean, personally, I don't think I look manly. So, I mean, you can only grow so much, and you can easily avoid bulking too much if that's what you're afraid of. And the way to do it is not by avoiding weights. So, lifting is good. Even if you're a girl, lift. Aside from that, diet. Diet is a massive part of competing, and just like any other diet, if you don't stay consistent afterwards, or you don't eat healthy or pay attention to what you're eating after the diet, then you're gonna flip back and gain all that weight back. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done that. Both times I competed, I bounced back really hard. I did not plan out a reverse diet, and I didn't hold myself accountable, and I just ate whatever I wanted. So I jumped from, what, like 1,300 calories up to maybe 2,500 or more. I wasn't tracking, so I mean, it's a huge jump. Your body can't adjust, and you're eating excessive amounts of calories, so obviously you're gonna gain weight. So that's just the overall kind of gist that you need, but there's all these little details that aren't taken into account either. The mental hardships of competing is immense. I mean, the whole time when you're on prep, your body or your mind is playing tricks with you about how your body looks and how you're feeling. Like, you get tired a lot on prep. I mean, right at the beginning, you feel fine, you feel great because you still have enough calories to fuel yourself and have enough energy, but once you get into prep, you start getting tired and you get cranky and moody, and it's mentally really challenging to go through those changes and, you know, not see changes in your body fast enough, especially when you feel so crappy. You feel hungry and tired, cranky, and then you think your body's not changing, so you get frustrated that you're putting in all this work and it's not showing. It is showing, but your mind is telling you that it's not, and your, I guess, lack of fuel is telling you the same. And temptation is a bitch during prep. It is, like, I mean, I'm sure you've had cravings before, but let me just tell you, you will never have cravings like prep cravings. I've never craved anything so much as I have on prep. Even period cravings. Like, period cravings are pretty intense, but when you're on prep, think of that multiplied. And then think of period cravings when you're on your prep. So it's definitely, it takes a lot of willpower, and you really have to be conscious and make those conscious decisions not to touch the food that isn't on your plan. I mean, I guess you can do if it fits your macros, but you need to be even more strict. It's easier to cheat on if it fits your macros. You can be like, oh, well, yeah, I can sacrifice a little bit here, or do this here, or I can eat that ice cream here because I can make it fit. I mean, yeah, you can do that, but you're not gonna come out your best if you don't give it 100% and you don't really harness your willpower to stay on track. It's personally, I think, I mean, everything works differently for everybody, but personally, I think having a plan, you can still kind of do if it fits your macros, but having a plan, like, this is what breakfast is gonna look like, my first snack, my lunch, my second snack, dinner, my evening snack, this is what it's gonna look like, and lay it out. And I've done a boring prep where I was eating the same food every single meal, every single day for probably 8 weeks straight, at least, and it was really hard to stay on track. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't stay on track all the time, but this last prep, I added more variation in my diet. I allowed myself different kinds of proteins. Instead of eating 3/4 pound of one kind of protein every single day, split up between different meals, I allowed myself different kinds of proteins, even though they were maybe not the best protein to have. I mean, I don't know, everyone's gonna have different ideas about it. Some people are gonna say you shouldn't eat that kind of protein this close to your show, but honestly, I feel like I did better when I gave myself variety, when I didn't restrict myself so much. And I didn't cheat because I allowed myself a little bit of wiggle room in some areas. It wasn't enough wiggle room to screw up my physique, but it was enough to mostly keep my cravings under control and keep myself satiated. And coming off of prep is also extremely mentally challenging, especially if you don't plan out a reverse diet. If you don't take care of yourself after your show, then you are gonna bounce back. Well, first of all, you're gonna get water back. Like, you're already gonna gain weight. You're gonna be softer than your show. You cannot maintain your show weight for a long period of time. You're going to look softer after your show. Even if you do reverse dieting, even if you do everything right, you're going to be softer. And that alone is going to be mentally challenging because you're gonna love the way you looked on stage. So it's so much more important to love the way you look when you're not on stage. You're not going to look stage ready all the time, so you need to accept the fact that you're going to gain weight, you're going to be softer, and you need to be okay with that. So that definitely takes a lot of mental toughness, and people aren't prepared for that. Like, they'll tell you again and again that you can't maintain it, but you need to know that it is going to be challenging. You are going to feel down about yourself sometimes, but you have to understand and accept that that happens to everybody. Everybody gets softer after their show. Nobody can maintain that stage ready look year round. And if they tell you that they do, then they're probably lying. Either that, or they don't get down as lean as a lot of other competitors do. And that's fine. Like, everybody can compete how they want, but like the pros, the way they look on stage, they don't look like that off stage. They're always softer. off stage. So striving for a bikini competitor body to maintain year round is not a good idea. And I know so many people say they're envious of my body, and I mean, I don't know, maybe they see other posts I put up, but a lot of times I think they're talking about my competition physique. And like that's great that I motivate you to work harder, but I honestly get discouraged when people see my stage physique and tell me that they're jealous of the way I look. I'm like, okay, but I look like that one day out of the year. Like, one day is when I look like that. I don't look like that all the time. Like, you wash off my tan and you feed me some food, and I don't look like that at all. So I'm not trying to put on this facade and pretend that that's what I look like all year round, because I don't. And especially after both my shows, I bounced back. I feel like this time around I didn't bounce back as hard, but I ate too much and I did not reverse diet as I had said I would. I feel like I snapped out of it a lot faster than I did last show, and I have another goal in mind that I'm trying to reach, so that I feel like that's helping me kind of pay attention more to what I'm eating and work towards my goal. And speaking of which, that's another way to help cope with your post-stage mental fog, bleh phase, is setting a different goal. I mean, it could be the same goal. My goal is nationals in November, so I want to give myself this time to build up, work on areas that I think I'm weak on, so that I can do my best at nationals and hopefully with my pro card. We'll see. It's a tough competition out there, so. But think of another goal. If you don't want to compete again for a long time, or you don't have anything in mind, come up with something else. Increase your deadlift. Increase bench press. Increase strength. Increase your cardiovascular fitness, and set a goal and plan out a way to reach that goal. Even if you don't have a plan immediately, if you have a goal in mind and you want it bad enough, then you're going to be more mindful of it, and you're going to think more about what you can do to reach that goal. So, I mean, right now I'm pretty lax with my diet, but I'm not going to be able to do this for very long because I need a longer chance to prep for nationals, and I want to bring my best. I mean, I really just want to stress that competitions, bodybuilding, bikini competitions, whatever, it's very challenging. I mean, like, people sit there and they're like, oh, all you have to do is lift weights, eat healthy, and then like strut on stage, and it's just a beauty pageant. It's not. It's I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's other sports out there that are more mentally challenging than this, but I think that bodybuilding is one of the most mentally challenging sports there are. It challenges you in all aspects of your life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social. Like, you can ask any competitor and I'm sure they'll tell you they've lost friends or damaged relationships by competing. So if competing is not something, I mean, people can go up and compete and not go through all that, but they're not going to look like that on stage. If you want to compete and you want to look like that, you have to have a passion for it. You have to want it. You have to be willing to sacrifice, and you have to make sure you have people around you who are supporting you, and better yet, surround yourself with people who understand. Talk to other competitors and surround yourself with people who encourage you and don't try and push you the wrong way, or or can understand where you're coming from, because there's a lot of people out there that don't, and I'm not saying like push them out of your life. Like my own family doesn't really understand what prep is like, and that's fine. They haven't been through it, and I never fully understood. I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna be cranky because I'm hungry, but it's not just that. You end up depriving your body of certain nutrients, and whatever you eat regulates your hormones. So when you change what you eat, it changes the hormones in your body, and it affects the way your body functions as a whole. Every little thing is controlled by hormones. So it is, I mean, I'm not saying that's an excuse to just go get angry at everybody, but it's really challenging to kind of keep your emotions under control. It's like mood swings all the time. You can be happy one moment, and then the next moment you could be crying on the Stairmaster, or like something will trigger you, or you'll be angry about the smallest thing. And it's just something you really have to mentally prepare for, and you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. So I feel like I've just been babbling a lot, but I feel like I've covered the basics. Oh, one more thing. You have to spend a lot of money. Food is expensive, especially when you're, like, you think you don't have to spend that much because you're dieting, you're eating less calories. But when you're dieting, you're filling your plate with more veggies, and when you eat so many veggies, it gets expensive buying pounds and pounds of veggies every week. That's one expense. And then gym membership, of course. If you already have it, then you kind of don't think about it. As a bikini competitor, you have to pay for shoes, a bikini, jewelry, and then hair and makeup if you choose to pay somebody, or you can do it yourself if you're comfortable enough doing it yourself. And I highly recommend that because you save a lot of money there. You have to pay for a tan, which is not cheap. It's very expensive. You have to pay for NPC membership, registration, per class you do. So say you do a novice class and an open class, that's the registration fee twice right there. So you got to think about that, because like the NPC membership card is $125, and registration, the last show I did was $100 per category. So I did 2 categories. So the registration, or the NPC membership, and the 2 categories all adds up to $350 alone. So that's one big cost, and I mean you can adjust pricing and how much you spend in a competition, but regardless of how much you try to save, if you're the most saving savvy person out there, you will still spend, I promise you will still spend hundreds of dollars on this. It's not a cheap hobby, and you don't even get an opportunity to get paid until you go pro. And obviously not everyone gets paid. You have to place to get paid, and depends on the show and blah blah blah, but it's a lot you have to give up. You have to have a passion for it. Just like anything else, if you want to do well, you have to have a passion for it. It's not just some easy breezy, oh, I'll give it a shot. Like, there's a lot you have to consider. So, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. If you want to compete, then go out there and do it. If it's your first time, I highly recommend getting someone to help you. Whether it be a coach or a mentor, make sure they know what they're doing. Because getting help from someone who's just as lost as you are is not going to help you, and it's going to make the whole thing so much harder. So find someone to help you and be there for you, and make sure you are ready for it. If you're not ready for it and you don't want to commit to everything that goes into it, then don't do it. I think that's about it. I mean, there's so much more to talk about the sport, and I would love to talk more. So let me know if you have any other questions or you're curious about anything. I can make another video about it, or I can talk to you. Yeah. So, that being said, I am signing off. So, good night everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, then like it. Like it. And share it with your friends. I really do want to be informative and give value to the videos. So, share it. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I can change, anything you want to know. And subscribe. Obviously, subscribe. Okay, see ya.
So you don't know what you're doing, and the walls are closing in. Just remember